When you turned on to Alexander from McKee,
Despite his injuries, Shoemaker Gonzalez drove another 2.5 miles before crashing into Palmer's Diner. Hospital tests showed he had a high blood alcohol level and tested positive for multiple drugs. After being discharged on January 15, 2023, Shoemaker Gonzalez was taken into custody and later released. He claimed to remember little about the incident and planned to sue the police for being shot. The late-night adventure of Tyjana Smith. In the early hours of August 5, 2024, the city of Fort Wayne witnessed an intense chase. At 3:35 a.m., Fort Wayne police officer M. Will spotted Tyjana Smith's car speeding through stop signs without slowing down. At this time, Tyjana had an outstanding warrant for driving with a suspended license, refusing to identify herself, and failing to comply with police orders. When the police ordered Tyjana to stop and get out of the car, she stubbornly refused. Despite multiple requests for her to exit voluntarily, Tyjana remained uncooperative and continued to resist. To resolve the situation, officers were forced to use physical force to pull her from the car. Tyjana's resistance prompted a more assertive police response, eventually forcing her to comply. Tyjana was arrested on charges of reckless driving, evading police, driving with a suspended license, and resisting arrest. The case concluded with Tyjana being sentenced to 30 days in county jail, probation, and community service. Although no one was seriously injured, the encounter left a memorable impression on Fort Wayne's residents. Shooting and crash in Pomona, California. On Sunday, June 9, 2024, at around 7:18 p.m., Pomona police officers responded to the 200 block of Las Brisas Circle after receiving reports that Kenneth Gennadini, 60, had fired shots inside his home after an argument with his wife. The suspect later left the home and crashed his vehicle at Holt Avenue and White Avenue. When police arrived at the scene to negotiate with the suspect, an officer-involved shooting occurred when Gennadini reached for a gun inside his car and pointed it at the officers. To ensure safety, officers used a Bearcat SWAT vehicle to extract an unrelated driver from the area and provide necessary medical care. The suspect was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. Following the incident, police provided first aid and evaluated Gennadini's injuries. Following the incident, the officers sustained minor injuries from broken glass caused by the suspect's gunfire and were treated at the hospital. Shell casings from the suspect's weapon were recovered at the scene. On July 12, 2024, police identified and arrested Malcolm Gus Jr., 31, who was charged in the case. Gus faces multiple severe charges, including attempted murder of a police officer and illegal possession of a firearm. He is being held on $2 million bail and could face life imprisonment if convicted. On October 4, 2023, in Indian River County, Florida, a high-speed pursuit rocked I-95. Nicholas David Parchesco, 28, decided to make a daring escape after being involved in a horrific stabbing, reported by the Jupiter Police Department. Thanks to the smooth coordination between ground and air with the participation of Hawk helicopters, police quickly discovered Parchesco's car speeding on the highway. Before he could run far, Parchesco was stopped and successfully arrested without any injuries. Parchesco is currently being held at the Indian River County Jail on a whopping $100,000 bail. On July 13, 2023, Ocala, Florida witnessed a terrifying high-speed chase, led by 19-year-old Jeremiah Lewis. Lewis turned the escape into a dangerous act that spiraled out of control. With 6 teenage passengers, ranging from 12 to 16 years old, in the car, he aggressively refused to let them leave the vehicle. It is worth mentioning that the car he was driving was stolen from his grandmother, making the incident even more serious. This reckless action caused Lewis to face a series of serious charges. From escape causing damage, illegal detention of children, child abuse, to interference with child custody and vehicle theft. Currently, Lewis is being held in the Marion County Jail on $51,000 bail. A family member of the teens expressed outrage, insisting that Lewis not only played with the children's lives but also chose the wrong district to carry out this criminal risk. Shooting suspect arrested after dramatic bicycle chase on Los Angeles freeway. On April 26, 2024, John Lopez, 24, shot a family member after an argument and fled the scene in Los Angeles. Upon identifying the suspect riding a bicycle on Highway 5, the Air Force unit and officers from Northeast and Horlenbeck launched a daring pursuit. Lopez crossed several lanes of traffic before being hit by an officer on his bicycle, causing him to lose control and fall. He was arrested without further incident, while the small-caliber gun was recovered. The victim of the shooting luckily only suffered minor injuries and is recovering. Vehicle attack suspect arrested after hiding in trash can. In the early morning of May 5, 2024, Seattle police discovered a stolen vehicle with the suspect sleeping in the driver's seat at 6th Avenue South and Snoqualmie Street South. While fleeing, the suspect crashed into the tent where 2 people were lying inside. He then accelerated until the car could no longer run and hid in a trash can, covered with drywall. A gun was found along the route the stolen vehicle traveled, even though the suspect is prohibited by law from possessing a gun. 2 people who were stabbed were treated at the scene. The suspect was detained for vehicular assault, illegal possession of weapons and possession of a stolen vehicle. This is the case of the stolen car driver arrested after a chase and fight, using a taser. On May 19 at approximately 2:00 p.m., Moore police received a report of a stolen vehicle near Northwest 12th and Janeway. When attempting to stop the driver, police initiated a short pursuit. After the driver crashed into another vehicle and fled on foot, officers Shetler, Sternberg, Hernandez and Lieutenant Dean pursued on foot and arrested the driver, Dontavius Smith, 20, in the backyard of a resident. During the arrest, a taser was used twice, during which Officer Sternberg was shot with a stun gun. Smith was taken to the hospital for evaluation before being booked into the Cleveland County Jail. The incident lasted about 4 minutes from the pursuit to the arrest. Shooting in Green Bay, suspect commits suicide after conflict with police. On February 23, 2024, at 12:56 p.m., the Green Bay Police Department received a 911 call regarding Steve Ventura, 40, pointing a gun at a complainant. After Ventura left the scene, the complainant followed and reported it to police. Officer Daniel Skenendor spotted Ventura's red car and began following it. Ventura stopped the car, got out and pulled out a gun and pointed it at Skenendor. Officer Skenendor fired into the Ventura's windshield and then found a safe location. When he saw that Ventura was still holding the gun, he continued to fire. When other officers arrived, they found Ventura lying in his girlfriend's front yard with a gunshot wound to their head. He was taken to the hospital but did not survive. Evidence showed that Ventura fired at least 3 shots, while Skenendor fired a total of 25 rounds. Shooting in Oklahoma City, suspect surrendered after clashes with police. On April 12, 2024, OKCPD officers received a report of Juan Castorena Guerrero, 59, shooting a gun in the 200 block of SE54th Saint. When police arrived, Castorena Guerrero was inside the apartment at 243 SE54th Saint. When the suspect walked out with the gun, officers told him to drop the gun. Failing to comply, an officer fired a less lethal 40mm round. Castorena Guerrero then pointed the gun at the officers, leading 6 officers to open fire. The suspect retreated into their house but after a few minutes came out and surrendered without injury. Next is the Motel 6 shooting in Mosers Lake. At approximately 8:20 p.m. on May 4, 2024, Mosers Lake police responded to a domestic violence incident at Motel 6. Suspect Zachary Allen Stockton, 37, allegedly threatened to kill his girlfriend and pointed a gun at him. Miss. When police arrived, Stockton left the room with 2 guns and opened fire on the officers. Sergeant Adam Monroe and Officer Todd Taylor returned fire, hitting Stockton and arresting him. Stockton was taken to their hospital before being booked into Grant County on multiple charges of assault and illegal possession of a weapon. One vehicle was hit 8 times during the confrontation. Sergeant Monroe was shot in the leg and required surgery. He served with the Mosers Lake Police Department for 14 years and is an Air Force veteran. Officer Taylor, who served 6 years in Mosers Lake, worked at the Grant County Jail and is a Marine Corps veteran.
Sage Street, just ran a stop sign.
On Thursday afternoon, January 11, 2024, around 3:15 p.m., American Canyon Police, ACPD, stopped a vehicle for a traffic violation in the area of SR 29 and American Canyon Road. The driver did not stop, leading to a chase through Vallejo. As the chase continued on Souza Road, the driver's tire blew out near Gateway Road, causing the car to crash into a fence. The suspect, Demaria Vaughn Rogers 3, 18, of Vallejo, abandoned his vehicle and fled on foot carrying a loaded handgun.
I got you. Hey, look at me. I got you. Look, this one. Look at me.
Officer Joshua Coleman ordered Rogers multiple times to drop the gun. Rogers threw away one gun but continued running with the other. Officer Coleman fired 2 shots, leaving Rogers with non-life-threatening injuries.
All right, am I good to back out?
You're good. Hey, single or double?
Good. 2 suspects.
Rogers was found to be carrying a .40 caliber handgun and an unregistered Glock .40 with a high-capacity magazine. He was charged with obstructing an officer and is scheduled to be sentenced March 22.
Doesn't mean incorrectly. One vehicle. Vehicle comes northbound right here, has a stops and bails at the corner of Souza and whatever that is. Okay? 2 suspects flee. One suspect goes out of the car and goes over the fence in the 200 block of Souza between here and the intersection.
Dramatic chase in Seattle. On the evening of December 19, 2023, 3 teenagers in a gray SUV committed a series of carjackings and robberies in Seattle. The first incident occurred on Alki Avenue Southwest, when 2 suspects threatened to carjack a 38-year-old man, but he was able to escape. Next, they tried to carjack a woman on Southwest 59th Avenue, but she drove to safety. Finally, they robbed 2 phones and keys on Beach Drive Southwest. Police spotted the SUV and began a pursuit. After using spike strips to block the vehicle, the suspects fled, but 2 of the 3 suspects were immediately arrested, and the remaining person was pursued with the assistance of AK-19. The suspects, including 2 14-year-olds and a 16-year-old, were charged with robbery, possession of a stolen vehicle and resisting police.
Put your hands down. Put your hands out to your sides.
Los Angeles, California, pursuit ends in shooting. At approximately 8:51 a.m. on January 14, 2024, Los Angeles police discovered an Audi SUV driving recklessly by Mark Gonzalez. After initiating the pursuit, police collided with a light pole and lost sight of the vehicle, but the vehicle was later located and the pursuit continued. The pursuit ended when Gonzalez lost control and crashed into a curb. He left the car, holding a pistol and disobeying orders, leading to police shooting. Gonzalez was shot and was later taken to the hospital in stable condition. A community member was injured by a gunshot wound to the thigh and was also treated at the hospital. A Glock 9mm pistol was recovered at the scene.
Shots fired on shooting bell, 12th and AL. We have all officers respond eastbound on 12th only from Central.
Walton County, Florida, robbery and high-speed pursuit. On June 17, 2022, Dallas Francis, 35, was recorded robbing a Circle K store in Miramar Beach. The next day, when police tried to stop the car for questioning near Sioux Lane, Francis fled, fired several shots and threw cash out of the car during a chase of more than 50 miles. The pursuit ended when Francis exited the vehicle from the passenger side and fired at police. He was injured in the gunfight, but no police were injured. Francis and Mary Yard, 30, were arrested and taken to Okaloosa County Jail. Francis was sentenced to 50 years in prison with a minimum sentence of 20 years for the assault and robbery charges. This was a dramatic confrontation at a Houston gas station. On August 7, 2024, at a gas station along Interstate 45 North, no one expected a tense situation to unfold during a quiet night. Houston police received a call about a trespassing incident. When they arrived at the gas station at 5716 North Freeway, 2 men were taken into custody. One was simply warned and asked to leave the scene, but the second man, who had an active warrant, wasn't so lucky. As officers conducted a search, they discovered the man had a handgun hidden in his waistband. The situation quickly escalated. The suspect suddenly pushed the officers and attempted to draw the gun. The officers shouted warnings, ordering him to stop, but the suspect continued to resist fiercely. During the intense struggle, one officer was forced to fire a single shot at the suspect. The officers immediately subdued and arrested the suspect, removing the gun from his person. While waiting for paramedics, they provided first aid at the scene. Unfortunately, by the time he reached the hospital, the suspect was pronounced dead. The story ended with a heavy atmosphere. While no officers were injured, the incident left a lasting impression of the quick decisions and tense situations officers face in life or death moments. Today, let's dive into a daring pursuit in Miami-Dade. On August 1, 2024, police in Miami-Dade County spotted a stolen black GMC Denali near the Golden Glades interchange. The driver, Joseph Giannino, 35, fled on Interstate 95 and the Palmetto Expressway, crashing into a Mercedes and causing a severe accident with a box truck. After crashing into 3 vehicles and flipping the box truck, the Denali finally came to a stop on the grass near State Road 91. Giannino was arrested and charged with vehicle theft, fleeing and eluding causing injury, and driving with a suspended license. Today we go to Atlanta, Georgia and watch the dramatic chase and arrest of an ambulance thief. On April 17, 2024, Lardarius Williams, 27, stole an ambulance from Piedmont Henry Hospital in Stockbridge, Georgia. The pursuit began when paramedics jumped out of the vehicle, and Atlanta police, working with the Georgia State Patrol, attempted to stop the vehicle across multiple jurisdictions. Williams drove recklessly, crashing into many civilian and police vehicles before being forced to stop with a stock stick device that deflated the tire. After a pit by Georgia State Police, the ambulance crashed into a utility pole and was disabled. Williams fled on foot but was arrested a short time later. He is currently being held at the Clayton County Jail.
Let me call you right back. I gotta send this stuff aside.
Right now we go to Atlanta, Georgia to follow the suspects arrested after the shooting.
That's negative. Continuing.
On June 12, 2024, at approximately 5:00 p.m., Precinct 5 officers responded to a shooting at 142 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard Northwest. During the investigation, officers discovered 4 male suspects involved, driving a blue Tesla. When checking the area near the intersection of 10th St. Northwest and Techwood Drive Northwest, FIT officers and District 1 units along with the ACE team located the suspect vehicle. After a pursuit, the driver lost control and the vehicle was disabled. The driver fled on foot, while the remaining 2 passenger suspects were immediately arrested. The driver was also arrested after a short pursuit. A gun was recovered from the driver's pant leg. The suspects were identified and arrested. Kentavious Campbell, date of birth August 2005, aggravated assault, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, evading police, obstruction and reckless driving. Elijah Griffin, date of birth February 2007, aggravated assault and carrying a pistol while under 18 years old. Isaiah Grimes, date of birth January 2002, aggravated assault, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. Jaden Chapman, date of birth August 2000, aggravated assault, possession of a weapon during a crime, criminal use of a weapon during a crime. A 4th suspect, who fled on the day of the shooting, was also later identified and arrested out of jurisdiction. Don't take your eyes off the screen, let's watch the stolen car chase in Columbus. On May 7, 2024, Whitehall police discovered a stolen vehicle in connection with an armed robbery. When police attempted to stop the vehicle, the suspect did not comply and fled, leading to a high-speed chase through Columbus. Then, the 2 suspects got out of the car and stole another car from a driver parked on the side of the road. The chase ended when the stolen vehicle crashed into a tree. Police arrested both suspects right at the scene.
I can't see, bro.
Both are juveniles, have a history of car theft, and are currently facing many serious charges.
Get out, get out.
On May 5, 2024, Oklahoma City Police received an emergency call about a domestic dispute. At the scene, they discovered Lisa Daniels, 61, had shot a man in the chest. This person is still alive but seriously injured. Daniels initially did not cooperate, even threatening the police by pretending to hold a gun. Police were forced to fire warning shots to stop her. Ultimately, Daniels was arrested without injury. She is currently in custody on charges of domestic assault with a deadly weapon, while the man who was shot was taken to the hospital in critical but stable condition. Today we start and look at the encounter with an armed suspect in Sparks, Nevada. On March 29, 2024, at 1:39 p.m., a Sparks police officer stopped an unmarked Ford Expedition in the 1700 block of Greenbrae Road. As he approached, the driver pulled out a pistol and shot the policeman in the shoulder. The driver then fled, crashing into another vehicle at the intersection of Greenbrae and Rock Streets before fleeing.
Looks like he jumped the fence.
Deputies from Sparks, Reno and the Washoe County Sheriff's Office searched for the suspect. The suspect entered an occupied home, was kicked out, then continued shooting at officers from inside another home, injuring a deputy and a Sparks police officer. The suspect then entered the home of another elderly female resident, who opened fire on police from the backyard. SWAT teams and negotiation teams attempted to negotiate with the suspect for several hours.
He's barricaded in the bathroom? Okay. Does he know you're in there? What's your name?
Finally, at 10 p.m., police entered the home and found the suspect, 34-year-old Anthony Wade, dead. Wade has a .40 semi-automatic pistol and an extended magazine. 2 Sparks police officers and a Washoe County Sheriff's deputy were treated and released from the hospital.
Copy. We're just passing 25th Avenue right now. Yeah, I'm number 3 right behind you guys.
Today we watch the dramatic chase in Thurston County. On the morning of March 6, 2024, Thurston County Police stopped a truck on Rich Road SE. When the police approached, the passenger left the car, but the 29-year-old driver gave a false name and immediately ran away. Suspecting that the driver showed signs of being drunk, the police conducted a pursuit.
Let's trail right at Lacey Boulevard here. We're going over the overpass over Pacific.
The truck sped at speeds of more than 60 miles per hour through the Lacey area and onto the Chehalis Weston Trail, forcing people on the road to quickly dodge. Finally, at 26 THRVNE, police performed a successful PIT, sending the truck into a muddy field and into an unoccupied travel trailer. The driver continued to resist even though the police asked him to stop, forcing them to break their window and use a stun gun to control him. After the driver was pulled out of the car and arrested, police discovered drug paraphernalia in the car. The pursuit also resulted in a minor collision between two other vehicles, but no one was injured.
Taser, taser, taser.
The driver had outstanding warrants for previous charges and now faces new charges, including eluding, driving under the influence and possession of drug paraphernalia.
I got both of his hands here.